I got some not so great news. I got let go from Macy's lingerie department.
Those bastards. Who wouldn't enjoy a nice thong?
Come on.
And I got maybe 10 minutes left with the card. What I need to get is a
Job.
Husband.
You guys got anything full-time, part-time? How comfortable are you with the lowlife? Sold lingerie for 3 years in Newark. You're good to go.
One for the money. I wish.
Fuck you! We're not giving our ratings yet?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Slow down.
You know what? But if ever there was a title of a film that was totally accurate to its genesis, it's got to be this one.
Yes,
right?
yeah. Now, I wish one person would just spend money on this movie. God damn it! I mean, I blame y'all because
What? How you blame us?
Because
you know what? A lot of Katherine Heigl movies, you somehow found your way to slip out of with that whole, I got to go to New York, guys. Otherwise, I'd be there.
Or alternately, he's turned around when we were all like, "The fuck this movie." He's like, "Come on, guys, it's not that bad. You're too hard on it. It's a manhole."
Name one Katherine Heigl movie I've done.
I'm just going with an assumption.
Okay.
It sounds like something you'd do.
You got no evidence.
You know your alter ego, Captain Matinee, will swoop in out of nowhere.
Not here. No. If I wish he would, I'll punch the fuck out of him if he tried to do that. Not for this. No, sir. This right here, this is a movie that I want to sit Katherine Heigl down and just say, girl, are you trying to destroy your career? I mean,
Too late, Luthor.
I mean, this is the one. I was telling you
This
last
isn't the
night.
one. It's happened before.
No, this is the one. I just saw a report on her because I was talking to him last night because after it started with Knocked Up. You know, the one she was in that movie with Seth Rogen.
The Judd
Apatow movie.
Follow up to 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
Which everyone was like, "This is going to be so good," and maybe we put a little bit too much into it because of that feeling. You know what I mean? Because it's a good movie.
It's
good.
not
great.
bad, man. It's not
okay.
great either. You know,
It's okay.
It's okay. But you know who it did piss off? One of the stars. Guess who? Katherine Heigl, who went off talking shit about the director. And everybody's like, hey, babe. You know, because that's where she was like, this movie's kind of sexist. And this is after the movie was successful, made money, and kind of making her career. And she's going to go off and talk shit. And everybody's like, hey, sweetheart, you ain't really that much of a mainstream actress yet, all right? You got a little bit more to go. You need to calm your ass down.
Well, plus everyone was baffled going, in what way was that movie sexist? And she goes on to make every movie she's made since then be so sexist that it's like watching if Maxim magazine made a movie about women. I mean, including this one.
Oh, yeah.
They're so misogynist, it's just shocking.
Well, the thing is, if Maxim magazine did make a movie about women, it would not only not be quite as misogynist, but they'd pick a hotter chick.
Yes, they would.
Well, you know, hey.
get naked
Now,
on
watch what you say. Watch what you say, because the only good thing that bitch has ever done was Maxim, and that's it. I still have that goddamn issue because for some reason
Really, it's not
I
stuck
always
together?
had hope for that fucking chick because I'm like, wow, somebody's finally saw her for the tits that she is.
Co-host's
And-
version of feminism,
and
right
when-
here,
and-
ladies and gentlemen.
And when they introduced her to Hollywood and the movie making, what does that bitch do? She covers them up every goddamn opportunity she gets because you know what? You need to unleash those goddamn titties because your acting is not doing the job. Period.
Okay,
Man,
I agree with you.
you are the Gloria Steinem of Spill. I'm telling you, man.
Even I'm backing up from this one. I was just going to say, I read her on a list. You need to pull them titties out. That'll make her career.
This is something called truth, and you best listen. All right.
Of course, with each movie, she goes further and closer to just flat out doing that. Like in this movie, there's a long sequence that is about nothing but her almost showing her nipples. You know,
right?
And where she's like in the shower, and the guy pulls away the shower curtain, and she's sitting there half naked, just barely holding on to her big old boobies. And they're hoping you're paying so much attention to that you'll forget that the scene isn't funny and doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense either. You know why? Because I was going to say this for later on in the review when we got into like the plot and everything, but I'll just say this right now. This is how nonsensical and just downright dumb this movie is. There's a scene where Katherine Heigl is chained to a shower curtain rod. And she's calling somebody to get a key to help her get out of the handcuffs. It's a shower curtain rod. That shit is spraying loaded.
Yeah,
you can just pull that shit off.
That shit falls on me. That shit falls on me when I'm taking a shit.
Do you know how
it just falls on? I mean, yeah, I can barely keep that thing like the way it's supposed to be hooked up.
Do you know how many times I walked into my bathroom drunk to throw up and I fell on the shower curtain? The rod
I
came
know,
down.
I
They're like, you got to call somebody to get you out of this. Katherine Heigl, the problem with her is that she is on that borderline of like being out of a movie career. There was a list that was out recently talking about it girls from the past.
Sure.
And then right after that they said
Shit girls.
Yeah, shit. Oh yeah, just about. And then they said, and look who's like in the targets right now. Look who's on the border of being on that list, like of has-been list girls, and Katherine Heigl was one of them. They said this girl has made one bad career choice after another as far as her film career goes. This one right here, if this ain't the goddamn nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what? I
can see the evolution, her being popular on Grey's Anatomy.
Yes.
Where it's like, hey, you have a large female following. We need to get you in feature films. You could be the next Julia Roberts, or if nothing else, the next Kate Hudson, where you just make these movies that cater to women, a certain demographic, and they'll always come out and see them. And maybe they did at first, I guess.
It doesn't seem so.
I know.
I mean, they certainly they're putting her in movies with a lot of the leading men of the time. You know, like, okay, this is the guy we think is going to be big right now. The girls seem to like. We're putting you with like various different directors who seem to be okay. But the thing is that she always ends up picking these movies that are so ultimately kind of anti-woman that they intimidate the very audience that she's supposed to be.
Well, the sad
gathering.
thing is that those movies are drawing in women, because when I went, there was nothing but fucking women. And the unfortunate son of a bitches who had no choice but to fucking go to the movies with their girlfriend or their wives, because they're going to get an ass beating if they don't. I mean, the one thing about that shower scene, considering how, nude she is, yet she's covering herself up throughout the entire scene, which lasts a good 10 minutes. All I'm thinking is like, wow, is this scene specifically here to assume that guys are going to come and see this goddamn movie? I mean, really?
It's all female fantasy. It's all. I mean, I know. I mean, maybe you should tell the plot, but that's every part of this movie is all about the fantasy of like, oh, he's the bad boy that I had once, but I don't have, but I hate him, but I want to get back together with him. And
that's the plot of the film.
We
right
had these little
there.
sexy misadventures.
No big surprise that this was written by a mystery, I say that in quotes, writer whose career before decided
Janet
to write
Ivanovich.
mystery writers.
Wait a minute,
mystery
what
books.
was her name?
Janet Evanovich.
Yeah.
Her career before that was romance novels. And when you watch this, you go, yeah, it's a romance novel with some mystery trappings around it, but ultimately it's still a romance novel.
The writer should keep her name a goddamn mystery. Everyone involved in this movie.
Yeah, no, and you, Leon, you saying tell what this plot is about? I know the premise based on like at least what this series of books is about. Katherine Heigl plays Stephanie Plum, who was a lingerie buyer for a department store.
Yeah, she worked in retail.
Yeah, in retail. Yeah, and then she lost her job for a few months, and then her cousin just happened to bring her into going out and collecting a bounty on all these.
Yeah, being a bounty hunter. Like, she's got a cousin. She can't find any job. They say, why don't you check out your cousin? He's a bail bondsman. She's like, oh, well, this looks like something I've never done before. How hard can it be? I guess I'll do that now.
Yeah, and the only reason why she does it is because
she
tells her cousin, it's like even her cousin is saying like, look, girl, you ain't made for this shit, okay? And she's like, hey, you stuck your tongue down my throat at my wedding. Okay, well, go after this old dude who likes to parade around naked and misses court date, and go after this dangerous guy who like misses court date, and she just takes on any case as long as she can just get somebody to pay her rent. Apparently this series has sold like millions and has made like 18 novels, like some novellas, some short stories.
Sure. It's a hugely successful series. Janet Evanovich is one of those writers who writes very successful airport novels.
Yeah.
I mean, they, by any literary standards, they're not good, but they're good little trashy things you read as you're waiting, as you're playing, as you in your layover, waiting for your plane
that's cool,
to Miami.
All I know is about this movie, she's after some guy who jumped his court date, a jump bail bit, and this guy just happened to have some past with her because he fucked her somewhere when she was 17.
I mean, it's still in my memory. It's a cop, maybe a dirty cop, maybe not, who's on the run after posting bail, and it's a guy who took her virginity when she was 17. And apparently, within their history, she ran over him with her car at some point
and broke his leg. At this point, after I found out that dude's name, I didn't give a fuck. I just didn't care. That's the biggest thing about this movie is that it's not that I don't want to care. I want to understand what's going on. I want to know about the plot. I want to get to know these characters. I just don't give a shit.
After 20 minutes, yeah.
I couldn't care. I didn't know what was happening because I lost interest. I don't give a fuck.
After 20 minutes, you just don't care because the movie goes nowhere and it goes at a recordly slow pace.
Even the movie doesn't care. It really doesn't. I mean, when it comes down to the point where they have to explain to you what actually happened, it's like, fuck, are we almost out of time? Well, we'll do that old cliche where the villain has got everyone at gunpoint and has to explain what his plan is. But here, there's absolutely no reason why he would do that. It's so ham-handed and ridiculous.
It really is.
I started laughing out loud, and so did the three women sitting behind me.
It's one of those.
It was ridiculous.
It's a movie where it's not because none of us are dumb enough to where we can't comprehend what's going on. This movie is just everywhere, and it's everywhere for nothing. I mean, this is because this is a TV. I always say this. I know I always say this, but really, this is true. This is a TV movie. It's a bad TV movie.
This is a TV pilot that would never air.
It is.
I would only disagree with you where I don't feel like it went everywhere because it just stayed very localized. I think it did the opposite of going everywhere. It stayed very localized. It was very TV.
You don't really feel like all these characters they were introducing, you didn't. Okay, let's just say you did understand how they were intricate to the plot. You didn't think that it was unnecessary to make this simple, dumbass story, as complicated as it was.
Well, it's based ultimately on classic mystery thrillers. Like even the Fletch novels would be a good comparison to what she was going after, storyline wise, where he has to go through various different set pieces with different odd characters in order to eventually get to the goal. The problem is that your lead character, we have to believe, is somehow going to become competent enough to do this job at all, where she's running around in high heels for the first half of the movie, as a quote bounty hunter, unquote. And I mean, it's just doing everything to a level of incompetency that's laughable. Even when they have it where the movie's like, oh no, now she's starting to figure it out. Like, I mean, at one point she picks open a padlock with just a nail file, which, by the way, you cannot do. It's totally implausible. After watching one guy pick a lock with proper lock pick.
With professional tools.
Yeah, I know. I was
is that what you were trying to do at my front door the other night?
No, I was just trying. I was just trying to kick it down.
he was trying to get out.
But you know what I mean? It's like stuff like that all the way through it. Like suddenly she turns into like this amazing shot, which even the movie at one point acknowledges, like, wow, that's crazy. You're like, I've never seen anybody shoot like that before.
24 hours later.
And it feels like the actors should all just stop and turn and look at the camera like a Ferris Bueller's aside, like, yeah, we know.
This movie would have made more sense if this bitch were 10 years old in her backyard trying to pretend to be like she's a bounty hunter or something. It would be that much more plausible. Because the one thing about it that kept like fucking just irritated me to where I wanted to throw something at the screen was the fact that she was trying to pull off this goddamn New Jersey accent.
Oh, and kept failing.
Kept coming in and out, and along with the goddamn narration. That for some reason they felt like they needed to narrate this entire fucking movie. And when I talk about narrate, I'm talking about more like commentary as far as like what the character's going to do next. Oh yeah, look, there's this car. I'm going to go break into that. I hope he shows up. All right, and it shows her going to the car, doing exactly what she said on screen, and then it repeats itself again and again and again. And I was just like, "Wow, I want to fucking embed a goddamn screwdriver in my head right now."
You ain't never lied about that Jersey accent. Not that I think it was terrible.
It was fucking awful.
But I just didn't buy it. I was like, I have never wished this at all. And I feel bad for doing it. But where is Snooki? If you're going to have somebody in Jersey, I was like, get one of the Jersey girls from Jersey Shore to do it. Get Snooki in there to do this, man.
I know. It's like, hasn't she watched Jersey Shore? I mean, I can't escape life without seeing a clip of that goddamn show. And I'm like, God damn, talk about meatball problems.
I mean,
Katherine Heigl is a new meatball fucking problem.
She'll be talking in it like really, really obnoxiously heavy. And then the next scene, it's totally not there, even the tiniest bit.
Yeah, there's nothing to buy because she's not selling it enough.
Yeah. But the sad thing about this movie, more than any of that, is that there's an actor I actually really like in this that should have been playing the person who is the person who is like the lead guy. We can't get Gerard Butler.
The ex-boyfriend?
No.
Joe Morelli?
No, I'm talking about the guy, not Joe Morelli, who's supposed to be the one she has romantic chemistry with, who like you're like, yeah, we couldn't get Gerard Butler, so we got to settle for this schmo from Terra Nova.
She has more chemistry with the food that she's eating.
I'm talking about the guy who played the other bounty hunter who helps her out.
Yeah, the one Ranger?
Yeah,
Ranger.
Who is from the show Rescue Me. Who's
Daniel Sunjata.
Great character actor. He's really funny. He's really likable, and he's trying so hard in this movie, and he's got nothing to work with.
Well, you know what? I thought he did good with what he had because he was able to come in for a little bit, play it kind of nonchalantly well. And you're like, dang, I want this guy. Don't leave.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like it was so obvious that if there was going to be a hookup, it should have been the two of them.
Yeah.
Stand up, lift your shirt.
Wow. Not even a please, huh?
Actually, just take it off. Please. Come Come on, strictly professional.
Yeah.
Look, it's a wire, okay? It's our best option. Pretty bra.
Thank you.
But they were like, no,
But
we
you
already,
know
got it,
what?
we already got it planned for this other guy.
And they
so-
literally write him out of the movie, and not even a sort of, oh yeah, his character dies, and a sort of, we forgot to even do
Right.
anything more with him.
It's
We
funny,
forgot he was
yeah.
in this movie.
You got. I like that character too. I like that character a lot, and I thought he was like actually the only character in the movie that I want to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And I imagine they didn't hook up because being that there's 18 novels, I haven't read them, so somebody I'm sure is gonna come and say, "I read these and you're wrong, Korey. Fuck you." But I'm not gonna read them after this, so fuck you. But I wouldn't be surprised if they hooked up later on in the series. Outside of this book, because I think this is supposed to be the first book that they made a movie of.
Well, too bad because this series is fucking dead.
Yeah,
And
it is dead.
so,
Guess
and
what?
so,
You're
yeah,
gonna
and so
find
is,
out.
yeah, and so is his career. I mean,
Oh, no, it's not.
if he manages to walk away from this unscathed, I will be
Co-host, you
surprised.
forget nobody is seeing
Yeah,
this movie.
I know. As of this recording, it was 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Zero.
Don't
Sure
worry, I'll
was.
remind him. All right, that's that asshole who's in that shitty movie that had to go
And
see.
there was practically no one at the screening that I
Yeah,
saw.
eight
On
people when I
opening
saw it.
night, almost
There was quite
no
a few.
one
There was
there.
quite a few of mine. And like I said, they were all girls. They
I
were
went
all
with my
chicks,
friend
yeah.
Jeff over here. There was 6 people in the theater, and everybody was laughing at the bad parts, except for the one old woman behind us who just thought that this was goddamn Shakespeare.
So there was a Shakespeare moment in the movie. Actually, it's probably like by far, if there was anything, if you had a gun to my head saying, "Okay, tell me one good thing about this movie," there was one fantastic scene where this black hooker is on the street dying, and Katherine Heigl's character goes, "Don't worry, I'm going to get you the help that you absolutely need." And she looks around the street and the house and goes, "Help! Somebody out there! Help! Help!
I had to laugh at that too.
Help me!
Somebody help me!
Oh, speaking of bad dialogue,
Black
man, the
Hooker
guy.
thought she was Octavia Butler.
I thought she was too in the trailer.
Octavia Spencer.
Octavia
sorry,
Spencer.
yeah.
Yeah, you got Gerard Butler and
I
Octavia
know.
Spencer.
I got Gerard Butler sort of on the mind.
Yeah, no, I thought that was Octavia Spencer too from the trailer, and I saw the movie. It's like
Sherry Shepherd.
She's not fat enough, so yeah. No, Jason. What's his name? Yeah, Jason O'Mara from Terra Nova. He had the worst line in the movie. And they had the audacity to repeat it twice. He looks, since they have some like a past together, him and Katherine Heigl's character Stephanie Plum. He looks at her once in the movie and says, "Whoa, history, baby, like Egypt." What the fuck is that supposed to mean? You could say World War II or some shit. I don't. It just didn't sound right. And they actually repeated twice. You remember what you said? We acted history like Egypt. I was like, wow, don't say that shit again. No, and I like that guy too. But it's just
For real?
I
fucking hated
Yeah,
him.
I did.
I
too.
don't like the character he plays.
Yeah, because he was so much like Gerard Butler's character.
That's why I
in,
keep saying it.
and Gerard Butler's his
the one movie he was in with Jennifer Aniston.
yes, and the one he was in with Katherine Heigl.
Yeah.
He did one with Katherine Heigl.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
I told you keep skipping these.
I was in New York at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
The Ugly Truth? Was that it?
The awful truth.
The awful?
No,
or
remember
ugly?
the ugly
I
truth.
think it's the ugly truth.
Yeah,
The Ugly Truth. That's
the
it.
ugly truth. Yeah,
who gives a fuck
he
truth?
He was a more even more despicable character in that one, but it was that same kind of relationship where like, wow, this girl, she's supposed to represent every woman, and yet she's in love with this guy who's the most misogynistic guy you could think of. But hey, but he's so cute. And don't you just love the bad boys? You know, for me, I wasn't angry about the movie the way you guys were because I look, it's a Katherine Heigl movie. I know what I'm getting into. It could have been worse. I mean, granted, there were times where I was like, wow, really we couldn't get Jennifer Aniston? I'm actually like wishing I had her back. But it's one of those where, you know what, it's just like story-wise, I'm like, all right, I could tell it's written by one of those, you know, it's based on one of those cheap novels. It feels like an old TV movie, kind of like what was that movie? Nothing But Trouble. Whichever one has with
Nothing But
Julia
Trouble.
Roberts.
That was the one with Digital Underground in it. You know the one with Dan Aykroyd.
Shit, no, you're right. But there's one with Nick Nolte and Julia Roberts. Yeah.
With their newspaper people?
Yeah,
or
with the
something?
newspaper people.
I'll pretend to know what you're talking about. Yeah,
But it's just one of those kind of mysteries where it's just kind of, you know, it kind of goes through its paces. It has what it considers twist, and then the bad guy reveals his plan and whatever. You just kind of like a Sunday afternoon watch and get it out and get it over with. The only thing that really got to me to where I was like, wow, really, was how it made her like run around in high heels and being so incompetent. Like Cyrus says, you just sit there going like, you dumb bitch. And I don't want to say that. I don't want to sit there through the whole movie feeling that way. But she's incompetent to a level that it's impossible to believe that she could do this at all. Like from the very first day, you realize he's like, this is not going to work. So move on and do something else.
No,
You rather say you dumb whore?
No, the movie does that a lot. It's like
Yeah.
it actually they use a lot of times to just show her ass or her breast, and I mean and have her run around hiding. Yeah, a lot to the point where, like I said, man, I know we've been accused of like being over sexist sometimes, talking about a girl's look. I have nothing against that, but when it's really exploitative like it is in this movie, it's too obvious.
Well,
like,
it's
come
not
on.
even sexy because the fact that
Exactly.
you just we already don't like her as an actress going into this because there's this point of like saturation with her always playing this type of character. You know, we're just like, you know what, you're just not hot to me anymore. I just don't. Maybe if we took your brain out, you were
Remove
kept up
the
my
head.
life support, I'd have sex with you. But other than that,
Damn.
I'm just saying. All right, so she's supposed to be the protagonist. They present it to us as if she's a smart go-getter woman who's having trouble keeping a job, but probably because of her mouth more than anything else. Like she has trouble like keeping her opinion to herself. That's all right. We can accept that. Except the problem is that they present this character who is like into this job mainly because the first person she has to hunt is an ex-boyfriend she still has a grudge against, and every time he's anywhere near her, all she does is swoon.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, she's not even mildly a strong character at
Yeah.
any point of this film.
Yeah, I agree.
And you had little touches like she's got her Hispanic best friend who is only there to talk to her on the phone in 2 or 3 scenes while she's shuttling her 18 kids around. And it's like, okay, we're going to actually interact with her or what? She's just there to go like, oh, girl, I know what this is all about. You shut up. I got to go.
All right. The one thing that I will say something good about this is that at the very beginning, I could kind of see how these novels are successful because I was for the first 10, 15 minutes, I was into this character. I was into her story about how she was getting into this. It was everything else that just didn't fall into place. How it was just the story was just scatterbrained everywhere that just threw me off. It is a very simple story, like you said. It's just kind of actually, Cyrus, you said this is just a romance novel that's blended in with like mystery.
Yeah.
And it is, but it can be made interesting. I imagine the books they are, but for the movies, it's going to require some really good filmmaking. It's not, and the filmmaking isn't helped here. First of all, the filmmaking here is bad. The editing is bad. The movie starts out with her sitting around the table with her family, and they cut in the most clunky way to reaction shots. And then that fucking band. That band I hate in every movie. That band, when they start out, you got that guy who starts out on that bass. And all and the rest of the band comes in. You know that.
You ain't Harold Faltermeyer. Get the fuck out of here.
I hate the music in this movie. Everything about this movie making process is cheap. It feels fucking cheap, except for the people they were able to get in the movie. And even then, besides Katherine Heigl, there's no major stars in this film. This is truly, I'm gonna say, this is like not even worthy of being like a Lifetime movie. But it's not even, if you want to put it right down to, if you were to see this is the kind of thing you would see on HBO. You should not pay to see this in a movie. I mean, in a movie theater. You should not have to put out that. This should be seen for free, because that's the way they made this. This is an afterthought, this fucking film right
What do
here.
you give it? Yeah, you're leading to
Bullshit! God damn it! I would say fuck you, but it's just mediocre. It didn't really. I knew what I was going into. Katherine Heigl's a fucking mark of death for a movie right now. So yeah, I knew what I was getting into, and I knew it was bad. I had my fucking friend over here, Jeff. Jeff, come here real quick and tell these people, if you don't think we earn our living right here for what we do, Jeff, what'd you tell me tonight when we eating?
I'll say you earned your money tonight. They should have paid you by the minute. The movie made me want to repeatedly punch myself in the face with both fists. The stereotypes made me want to die, and it was a horrible, miserable experience. And you definitely earned your paycheck tonight, my friend.
Korey, we should be paid double for this.
Hey, talk to Hollywood, not me. I'm trying to go write him tonight. Hey, I lost a little bit of my soul tonight. No, it really is that bad of a movie. Jeff actually turned to me, and this made me regret the obligation that I made a few weeks ago when I said I would never walk out of a movie. He turned to me and whispered to me, he's like, are you contractually obliged to sit here through this film? And I said, well, verbally I am right now, because I said on a podcast not too long ago I would never walk out of a movie, but I really want to right now.
Wow, Jeff, you got fucked and you didn't even get kissed. That sounds like a typical Korey Coleman night out. You know?
Did he at least pay for dinner?
I did. I felt so bad.
Come on, then you can't complain.
When we left, I said, I'm so sorry. And we stopped by, where did we stop? We went to the place in Dazed and Confused.
One of those places.
Top Notch.
Top Notch. Yes. I said, are you hungry, Jeff? I'm so sorry. Let me get you something to eat. And I pulled them over. We ate. And we bought 4 hamburgers.
After experience like that, Jeff, I need to buy you the greasiest hamburger I can find, because maybe you'll have a stroke on the way over to Cyrus's house.
Yeah. But his review for the hamburger was very good after that. He's like, this is like really old fashioned. This is they don't make hamburgers like this anymore.
No, they use the same old grease they've always.
and so does this movie.
Yeah, straight up bullshit. Go ahead.
Well, see, that's part of my problem with it. You guys are giving it not quite the fuck you it deserves, because you're like, come on, it's Katherine Heigl. What'd you expect? You know what? It's not. Expectations be damned. This is still an utter piece of shit. This is Heigl continuing. By the way, she produced this movie herself with a family member.
She did?
She's the executive producer of this, which
Who's
says,
a family member?
You look at the cast and like how they're, I mean, come on, John Leguizamo's the biggest actor you can get. You're in fucking trouble.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me ask you something. She actually produced another movie with a relative of the same name, because remember we saw another film that she was in.
Yeah, it might be getting to that point in her career, or definitely is getting to that point. I don't know what the other movie is, but probably the last one she did. Either way, it doesn't forgive, just because we're used to it by now from her, doesn't forgive anything in this. I mean, there is definitely room for this type of movie with a female, like, you know, a spunky female detective who comes from the ground up. No question. It wasn't this. It certainly wasn't V.I. Warshawski with Kathleen Turner. No one has yet done it. It'd be great if someone did. I can understand people being excited enough about the concept to want to see this. Don't. You're just going to get fucking pissed off by this movie. I wasn't angry because, as you said, we went into it going, well, it's probably going to be like this, and sure enough it was. But nonetheless, there's no reason to forgive a second of this. And even with the one guy I didn't in fact like who's in this movie, it makes the film worse that there's this guy who's really good who's resigned to being in a movie that's the shitty.
Yeah.
So this movie's a fuck you for me.
Wow. If I may throw out a name, it would be Steven Soderbergh, because he made
Haywire?
No.
I know what you're talking about.
Out of Sight, which did have that.
You're right.
That female bounty hunter.
That was the beginning of his whole trek to take actors who can't act and
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, but Jennifer Lopez. I mean, he showed like, look, you can do this. This is how you do it right and make it good. And it's like, damn, dude. And now just recently seeing Haywire, I'm like, all right, he knows how to make a strong female character in a role like this. So this, seeing this right after that, it's like, bad move.
Even more unforgivable.
Yeah, it just points out more how terrible this movie is. And yet, when I think about all the Katherine Heigl movies I've seen, this one was still more watchable than most. It's bad for every reason we named. It's just so mediocre, and yet just not quite enough to piss me off. And so I just give it like a high some old bullshit.
There's no such thing.
Is there not? Because I mean, it's because
are you fucking kidding me, Leon?
I mean, because I don't know. I mean,
because every time is no such thing.
Be a fucking man.
If there's a high rental, why
there's a high rental,
full price?
Because that's retarded.
That's just
no.
That's
getting retarded. No, be a fucking man and say it's a fuck you, please.
All right, well then fine. I'll say it's a low rental. How about that?
No, I would not take that.
No, I'll take that.
I'll take that.
No, I'll take that.
I would not. Don't encourage him.
No, I will encourage him only so I can give him shit later on, and when we have another review.
I applaud co-host for wanting to take this and have fun with it for the next 6 months.
This is one of those. This is the Leon factor happening right now.
You're gonna give this a low rental, you denim wearing motherfucker. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
Come on,
okay. I don't even. Know what that's
you're a grown ass man. Rate it how you want. Go ahead.
I just
said
did.
it,
I'm
low
done.
rental.
I'm sorry, co-host. I don't feel the need to like rehash everybody's reviews when I'm giving my rating. But you go ahead.
Okay, well, since we had to rehash this whole fucking movie, it's not like that would be torturous or nothing. But no, fuck you and fuck this movie. I mean, fuck everything about it. It's interesting that we're talking about. When you go to a movie, you see a trailer and you already know you're walking into trouble. You know it's going to be fucking terrible. I knew that walking in. That's how I'm like, wow, okay, this is just gonna be some bullshit, because I will be shocked and amazed if fucking Katherine Heigl actually does a movie that is remotely worth the shit. That would be like, that aliens might as well come down to the fucking earth and shake my hand. But that ain't ever gonna fucking happen.
Monkeys
and it
out of your butt.
Yeah, and it sure as hell didn't happen with this goddamn film, because yes, this goes into another realm of really terrible cinema, especially with an actress who has purely given up the whole idea of acting and using her talent. And I was just appalled from the first 5 minutes of this movie. I was appalled by listening to her try to like juggle with this goddamn accent when it got into the movie, where I'm like, wow, I'm already like 30 minutes into this and I want to blow my fucking brains out. This is ridiculous. This dialogue is bad. The stereotypes are all across the board are represented in this movie, with shining.
Oh, stereotypes are terrible. The two black
they're
prostitutes.
Gleaming. Yeah, across the board. It was fucking insulting to my intelligence, to the audience is intelligence, if they have it. And this movie made me fucking irate walking out.
So it's a fuck you?
It goes beyond a fuck you.
You know what,
it's like,
co-host? I gotta make up for my man Leon right here. If he's gonna go low rental, I gotta pull up the rear and just say I gotta change my rating to a fuck you too. I mean, this movie.
Yeah, you're changing shit.
But just so we're clear, my rating was a high bullshit.
Well, then I'm gonna beat you on that. I'm gonna give it some more bullshit.
I want to say for the record, you're about to try and go lower than fuck you, and you got to remember that fuck you only exists because there was nothing lower than some old bullshit.
Exactly.
That is the lowest ring of hell, and we have to settle for it.
Yes, I will. Yes, and so this movie gets like a almost a full round of fuck you right here. No, this is terrible filmmaking.
I will give kudos to Katherine Heigl though for eating the fuck out of every goddamn thing in that movie. Bitch, with every goddamn scene, that bitch had something in her mouth eating. I was like, wow, you know what? She needs a dick right now in her mouth, because that's the only way her career is going to come back.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, it's the truth.
The modern feminist.
Yeah.
Hey, don't call me names, all right?
I wish she ate the print of this fucking movie then, so we wouldn't have to see this shit.
Note to self, tell my mom not to listen to this movie.
We got this good cop, bad cop thing going, except with hookers.
They blew up our car.
Excuse me, whose car?
Your car. You want it back?
You've been hit.
Thanks, Einstein.
Too bad. It's a pretty nice ass.